Hello, awesome listener. This is Jermaine. Just a quick producer's note before you listen to this episode. Cake's audio, immaculate, perfect. My audio, however, sounds like I'm underwater talking through a tin can. So we push forward. I couldn't figure out how to fix it. So next time I'll just triple check my audio before I do a podcast. But other than that, enjoy the episode. Welcome back to another episode of Uploaded and Unfiltered, the podcast in which I, your host, Jermaine, interviews another content creator in regards to their journey thus far. Today, I have a special guest, and before I get her on the line, I'm going to read her bio and provide you with a little bit of information before we get this conversation started. CakePop is a lifelong gamer and a variety streamer on Twitch. Maybe you've seen her playing fantasy and sci-fi RPGs like Zenless Zone Zero, Love in Deep Space, and Baldur's Gate 3. Or maybe you call her hero shooter shenanigans in Overwatch or in Marvel Rivals. Perhaps you're new to the bakery and looking for a relaxed, positive space where everyone plays what they love and has a good time. Either way, welcome. It's nice to meet you. And with that, I'd like to introduce my guest for the evening. Welcome to the podcast. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I am happy to be here. Very cool to invite me.
Hey, I'm glad you were able to. And you know what? I just thought of something, and this is so random, and I do this, I apologize. But as I was looking back, I met you through the homies, Jedi, Ox, probably somebody else. That's how my friend group has grown. But when I first saw you I didn't know you knew them. I just saw you on Instagram, or maybe you got rated by somebody, but I was like, Cake's a cosplayer. And in my head, cosplayer, for some reason, I was like, cosplayers don't want to talk to me. I don't know why. And so I was just in the far being a fan, I'm like, yo, that shit's dope, all right. And then I found out Box Knee, I was like, hold the fuck up.
Yeah, we're all here. We're all there are 3 or 4 different Venn diagrams of Black Twitch that we all end up in.
Yes,
one way or another.
It's so cool. Also, that's a lesson to anybody out there. Don't doubt yourself. Just stop being scary and talk to people.
Yeah. No, I mean, hey, as far as perceiving me as a cosplayer, that's wonderful. I've posted probably 3 cosplays total, but
wow, in my head, you're a cosplayer. I don't know why.
Hey, if the cosplay is fire enough to be that memorable,
exactly.
I appreciate it.
Facts. All right, let's get started. I took us off course already. We just began. But Cake, what is your origin story in regards to content creation? How'd you get started?
So it's crazy to think it's been this long because I do it so lightly, I guess. Mm-hmm. What was it, 2017 or 2018? Whatever year it was that Detroit Became Human came out. People were watching Twitch streams more and more, and I started checking it out myself, and I was like, this is really cool. This is such an interesting way to share what you love. Mm-hmm. Because as a gamer, especially as a female gamer coming up, you may not necessarily know a lot of other female gamers. You may not necessarily know a lot of other Black gamers. Outside of my family, I didn't really know any, right? And so getting older and being like, hey, wait, I think that's something that I could do. I could get online and just play the game. I'm doing it all the time anyway. I might as well just stream it. Sure.
Exactly.
And so literally with my little $30 headset and PlayStation camera, I went live, and I remember Detroit Become Human was the first game that I streamed. And it was such a good choice to stream that game because it sparks so many conversations. Yes, and so I had so much fun immediately with a few people in chat who had shown up. And, my best friend was like, oh, I have another friend who's a gamer, because she's not a gamer. She was like, my friend who's a gamer wants to watch you play Detroit. And so I was like, okay. And so, so her friend was in the chat. It was a really good time. And other than that, I was really heavily playing Overwatch. And so that became, aside from the story games that I was playing, that became kind of my bread and butter and what I sort of became known for. And so the cosplay that you probably saw at the time was that Sombra cosplay.
Yes, that's what
That
it was.
it kind of, yeah, it kind of went not viral by any means, but I don't know, a lot of people saw it.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, and I just went from there. But it's really been a great hobby for me and such a fun way, like I said, to share what I love, because I could yap about video games all day, every day.
That's awesome. And it's always like yapping to somebody who else is going to yap back. Love
Right.
it. It's so
Yes.
good.
Yes. And there are so many passionate people in the gaming community.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was so thrilling to me to discover this entire section of all of these Black gamers, Black female
Yes.
gamers, Black grown adult gamers, because of the misconceptions about gaming, that it's, especially in certain circles, that gaming is something that like just kids do or whatever.
Yeah.
When the reality is, being a nerd doesn't get good until you're an adult with adult money.
Exactly. Because then it's like, oh, I can get 2 games?
Exactly. Yeah. I was like,
That's
oh, okay, well, what game am I going to ask for Christmas? No, I don't have to do that now.
Right. He's like, nah, I'm just not going to eat tomorrow and I'm getting this game.
Right.
You mentioned something that I think I want to call out that is an awesome just life lesson. When I was growing up, my pops was in the military, so we moved all over the place, a whole bunch of white-centric places. So I too didn't know, outside of like my brother and sister, that people that looked like me played games. But the crazy thing is, like, even when I grew up, like, I knew I played games. Yeah. For some reason, I didn't connect it. Like, there are other people out there. I just haven't found them yet. I was just like, oh, I'm an anomaly. I'm the only one that does this. It's fucking crazy.
Well, I think especially when I'm going to go out on a limb and say our age, millennial age, we came up without internet. True. For the longest time. And it didn't become a thing where everybody had a MySpace page until, for me at least, until like high school, when everybody was getting their vlogs and their social media and stuff together. So up until that point, unless they're in front of you, you don't see people. And so years later, to see Twitch pop up, and all of a sudden I was like, okay, well, I'll make a gaming Twitter, and I'll make an account on Twitch, and I'll make like a gaming Instagram and all of this stuff. And then to just see almost people like popping out of the woodwork, like everyone is here.
Yeah,
it was crazy. Right? Yeah. And it's like, even for me, growing up knowing boys who played video games, I did know a couple of other girls, but it wasn't that many. I remember, my God, it was the most bizarre. I understood what they were getting at. It was a backhanded compliment to other people, but it was like when I was in college and I had brought my PlayStation and like all of my games and everything, we were all having a game night. This guy was like, you are the most normal girl who plays video games the way that you do.
Wow. He thought he ate with that, bro. He was like,
I mean, I understood what he was getting at, because I knew,
for sure.
Not to shade to anyone, but I knew the not normal girls who played video games.
Right?
And by not normal, I just mean maybe a little bit more awkward or whatever. I laughed. I was just like, that is hysterical. But he was like, yeah, like normally to be as good at games as you are, this is not the personality that comes with it.
Exactly.
I was like, okay, sure. It's like, right. All right. I'll just take that. I'll take that at face value and move on. A CakePop. Yeah. Well, okay. So there is, just as a background, another thing that I'm really into, another thing that I enjoy, drag shows, right? And there's this drag queen named Trixie Mattel who was talking one day about like, going to the airport and buying like every CakePop available at the Starbucks in the airport and just going ham and all of these things. And the whole conversation was really about indulgence.
Yes.
And at the time, like I had a different PSN, like gamer tag or whatever. But at the time, for whatever reason, that quote really spoke to me. And it was really about living your fantasy and indulging in the things that you love and enjoying them unapologetically. Yes, we will eat all of the maybe not necessarily from Starbucks, but
Right,
yes,
right.
we will eat all of the cake pops. We will not save the things that we like for a rainy day. It
Mm-hmm.
won't be living for the weekend. Do it now. I don't know
Yes.
why that just really sparked like a whole thing for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I switched my socials, and when I made my gaming account and my Twitch account a little bit later, I was like, you know what? Why don't we go with CakePop?
Yeah. That's
So then it
dope.
just became CakePopPlays. Yeah. And so that was it. It's really just about like enjoying yourself.
Man, I did not see that
Having a
coming
treat.
at all. Like, right? No, that's dope. I like that. That jives with how I've been living my life for the last few years. Like, enjoy what you
Yeah.
enjoy when you can. Don't wait till the weekend or wait till the summer where we have more time. Fuck all that. Find some time
Uh-huh.
now.
Honestly, that is what makes, the weekly grind, if you are in the weekly grind, that is what makes it better. You can't
Yes.
spend 5 days nose to the grindstone working and taking care of the rest of your life and whatever for 2 days of weekend that don't even really count because the Sunday
No.
scaries kick in at like 3 p.m. Like that is not worth it. It's
No,
not
not
worth
at
it
all.
at all. Like I'm not doing 5 and 2. It's every day. If
Exactly.
you need that little mental boost, go to your neighborhood cafe and get a latte
Yes.
or a croissant or a cake pop. Get whatever. Like get that little boost to your day and then keep going. You have to sprinkle
Exactly.
in moments of joy and indulgence all the time. Like the
Yes.
world is too
Yes.
fucked up to not do that. We're not doing 5 and 2
Exactly.
anymore.
Oh, no.
We
Sorry.
can't.
Yeah,
We just
about
can't.
technically, yeah, I'm like, not really.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here, but I'm not here.
Yeah. It's interesting too because, well, side note, I am not currently on the weekday grind. I actually got laid off from my job in January.
Okay.
So it's been a really interesting couple of months, like having more energy to stream and do all of these things and be able to do it at the time that I actually prefer, which is in the middle of the day.
Right.
But I actually took a while off of streaming
Mm-hmm.
not even a couple years ago. For a couple of years, it was just like a stream here and there whenever
Right.
I like could get the urge to do it. And so I was like, you know what? I miss like having that outlet, and streaming is fun. It's just that
Mm-hmm.
like all of my energy and motivation was just like whatever. So I actually
Yeah.
just came back last November
Nice. Yeah, I
and
have
have been
noticed.
I've been like consistent since November. It's been like a
Yes.
twice a week, whatever.
Yeah, congrats on that, because that consistency, even if it's 1 day, 2 days a week, is the hard part to do. But once you get in the flow of it, then that's what you do.
Yeah.
But that's dope. All right, Cake. I'm gonna switch gears here, and ask you about your current mindset in regards to what you're doing with your content now, and where do you see your content in like 3 to 6 months?
Yeah. Well, the thing that was really huge for me in coming back was that I needed to find a pace and an amount of streaming and an amount of content creation
Mm-hmm.
that would work with my motivation levels, my energy levels. I have ADHD and it's very difficult to maintain routines and like do things strictly like, okay, well, I stream every Tuesday and Thursday at whatever, which that was the old schedule.
Yeah.
And so for me, mindset wise, it's really just making sure that I am doing it when I want to do it
Mm-hmm.
and not having it be a slog and not have it be like, oh, well, it's streaming day, but today's just mentally not that day. And now I'm online anyway. Now it's like, okay, well, all right, put in like 2 hours and then dip. Like, no, yeah. So my mindset is to do it when I want to. But that said, remaining consistent as I have since November, rather than setting a streaming schedule, make it a streaming quota. It doesn't need to
Okay.
be specific days per week, but it needs to be
Yeah,
twice.
I like that.
And that for me is like the perfect sort of Goldilocks zone of not too much streaming. Cause I think originally I was doing it like 3 days a week or something, not too
Mm-hmm.
much, but not too little. If you missed me earlier in the week, you can catch me later, to give people more opportunities to catch the stream, but also for me to be like, you know what? Oh, I haven't gotten a stream in this week. Oh, I really want to. It's helped me to maintain the feeling that I really want to do it. And it's a beyond me kind of thing. The rational understanding that I enjoy streaming has nothing to do with executive dysfunction and lack of whatever going on with ADHD, right?
Yeah.
But I've been able to maintain with this. It's a rough schedule. It's like a Wednesday, Saturday, or Wednesday, Friday thing.
Gotcha.
With this rough schedule, but really more of a do it twice thing, it's helped me maintain.
Right.
Just going along with how I am feeling has helped me be actually more consistent, which is counterintuitive, because you would think if it was just going off vibes, right, that's how your schedule falls apart, right? But this is actually what works for me to maintain everything. And I started that when I still had a job. And so the fact that I've been able to do that, it's just easier now. But the fact that was what was working when I was, logged in from 9 until 5 tells me that, like, that's what works. That's what I can roll with. So.
And that's the beauty of content creation. Like, you could do it at your own pace. And finding what works for you, because there's a lot of people out there that are like, and then also it depends on what your aspirations for streaming is, but like, you don't have to stream 5 days a week, 7 days a week.
No.
Like, I think the most I ever streamed I think I was up to 4 days a week back in the heyday, and I was like, this is stupid. What the hell?
And that was your schedule at the time, was 4, right?
Yeah, it was Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And then I would do Saturday because, like, at the house, like, nothing was really, like, we would go out during the day, and then we get home, and we'd be done by, like, 9. I'm like, well, guess we're having a night stream. But now, I'm almost doing what you're doing, except for I didn't have the quota, which I'm going to do starting this week, like a two-stream quota. But I'm like, I really want to play this game, and I'm going to be playing this game anyways. I might as well boot up the stream and have people come through. So, but yeah, I think I might be more intentional with that.
Well, you've also been doing the co-working streams as well. So
those are fun.
That's pretty cool. That was something that I thought about. I was like, I wonder if I could get away with, like, popping off a daytime stream, but make it a co-working stream. So everybody, I'm just sitting here quietly.
Yeah. I mean, try it. Like, I did it because some of the stuff I was working on is stuff I want people to see from this is how I, like, edit the podcast or do my YouTube thumbnails. And plus, I'm doing it anyways. Like, so I might as well have the camera on, get some watch hours in. But they've been fun.
Well, the last one I caught, I think that's exactly what you were doing. You were, like, editing maybe some podcast stuff.
Yeah.
So.
It's fun. Like, finding use for the things that I need to do, like finding another reason to do it has helped me when I don't feel like editing. So this will be, you're going to be on episode 93, and that's 93 weeks straight. I haven't missed an episode yet. And it's because, like, either I'll batch do episodes, like sometimes I'll have 4 interviews in a week, and so that's 4 weeks of content. Sometimes I'll bust out 2 or 3, like, solo episodes. But, like, I'm constantly editing it, and because I do it on an iPad, I could be wherever doing that, like, with the girls watching TV or helping with homework while editing. Like, I just find another alternate route to do what I need to do.
And that's so great. And the batch content thing is something that has always been, like, top of mind for me, and then I just, like, never managed to do it. But I love that of just, I'm going to edit, like, 5 TikToks, and then they all,
For years. I've only really started doing this maybe in the last 6 months.
Yeah.
I would say I've been creating content before. I'm not even going to put a number on it. But I was too, like, I know that would be dope if I could do it. And I don't know what stopped me, but one day I was like, you know what, fuck it. I'm just going to do it and see what happens. And yeah, it was messy. But I was like, oh, okay, don't do it this way. Do it like this. But and every time I do it, I learn something new. So yeah, whenever you find a capacity and you still want to do it, I say just start, just do some shit.
Yeah. Because I want to do more with my Twitch VODs, because that's really my primary, like, that's where I'm doing all of this. And so I was like, I really could just go in here, like grab some moments, turn it into a reel, turn it into this, turn it into that. And honestly, it doesn't even, that's something that I've learned. It doesn't need to be the highest quality thing, because the highest quality thing that you make is going to be the least viewed for whatever reason. It's so just get the content out there. And honestly, it doesn't even need to be, it needs to hit an algorithm, not like 3 Michelin stars or whatever.
I have a Tekken 8 video that is, I almost didn't post it because there's still a tiny part of me, I'm trying to burn that part out, that's like, this is not a certain quality, I'm not putting it up. I don't want to, personally, I don't want to be like that anymore. And so with this, I just threw that shit up. And that thing got 1,000 views on YouTube Shorts. And I was like, man, I'm done giving a fuck about it. Like, the funny part, you heard the funny part, and you can see the funny part. Yeah, it was a little blurry. Who gives a shit?
Honestly, people do not care. And that is something I've noticed. People do not care.
At all.
And while I love being able to edit and create something that is higher quality, and you still want to do that. It's not like you just want to vomit a bunch of content.
Exactly.
You still want to do that, but don't be afraid to just post. Like, and that's my current thing, is I'm like, oh, well, I don't have anything to post. I'm like, you've got a 3-hour stream from like whatever, just grab something. Yes. Just post it. I think that is my current mindset goal to get into. Just to be like, you have the content, you have all of these Twitch VODs, just start chopping them up.
Hell yeah. I'll tell you a cheat code. If you have a bot that can post shit every so often, include your community. Have your community clip shit. Because when I was like heavy in the streaming a lot, the clips that come, like, you're not gonna, maybe you set up a short key you can hit, but you're not gonna be really thinking about it.
Yeah.
Having your community do it, you'll end the stream with like 4 or 5 clips, and you can just post all them shits and be good to go.
Yeah. I have had people, clip here. It's not necessarily like a consistent thing that happens, but every time someone does, like, I'm like, yes, there we go.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. You're supporting the stream for free.
No, really, super. Yeah, and I'm super appreciative of that. Of the people who are just like very present and accounted for. When you're supporting a streamer, it does not. I say this as a currently jobless person. It doesn't need to be a subscription. Subscriptions are fucking great. Tips and subscriptions are great. Yes. But if you can't support, or if you need to monetarily, I mean, there are so many different ways to show up for someone that aren't money, and so I appreciate that stuff, just being present, clipping things. For anyone who is just a viewer of streams who is listening, we appreciate all of that.
Yes, we do.
All of the Twitch streamers out there, if you're clipping things, if you're helping us make content, showing up in the streams, like, it doesn't even need to be, even if you're a lurker, like, it doesn't need to be, oh, I'm going to drop a dono and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that.
Right.
So, yes.
That is awesome. All right. I think we're going to switch gears here, because you've already dropped a bunch of gems. Now I'm interested in how you're going to answer this.
Sure.
Lessons learned. What is a lesson that you learned because you started creating content?
So the main thing is it kind of goes back to the whole CakePop thing, but stream what you love. And your passion for what you love is going to come through. Because a lot of the times, I think for people who are trying to get started with content creation, there's this perceived entry fee to content creation. I need to get a PC set up, and I need to upgrade my PC so I can stream at whatever, and I need this, and I need these lights, and I need whatever. When I started streaming, my light was literally like my bedroom lamp with the lamp shade off for maximum light, propped up behind my camera, behind my laptop on a TV stand. And I was streaming from the PlayStation camera with a $30 headset and mic straight from my PlayStation, but enjoying myself.
How long did you have that set up?
God, at least the first, honestly, the entire time that I was streaming, the first chunk of my streaming journey. So like those first couple of years when I was doing it, probably, so like for 2 years, I'd say.
For sure.
Where I was either streaming directly from my PlayStation or from my not at all equipped for streaming laptop that I had it running. I don't know what the bit rate was or whatever, but it was not super high quality. It was, from a technical aspect, it was me being very into the games that I was playing and passionately playing Overwatch and doing all of these things. Play what you enjoy and not what, oh, well, here's the hot game. If you don't enjoy the hot game, don't play the hot game because it's going to show.
Yes.
If you're not having fun, it is so apparent.
Mm-hmm. That energy can be felt through the stream easily.
The energy, you are setting the vibes. You are curating your own stream. And if you go in there playing something, or not even necessarily for game streaming, whatever content you're creating, if you do cooking streams, if you do crafting streams, whatever it is, if you are not enjoying yourself, it shifts the tone of your stream. It is going to show, even if you don't have a camera on, it's in your voice, it's in the energy you're putting out. So you have to do what you love in that content creation. Because that is going to bleed into everything that you do surrounding it. You have to enjoy whatever it is that you're doing.
Yes. How long did it take you to learn that lesson?
I would say, well, I think it was something that it happened fairly quickly, but it wasn't necessarily something that came about because of me trying to play like trendy games or anything like that, because I've always been a person who's just going to do what I'm going to do. It happened to be that the game that I was passionate about was in its heyday at the time, Overwatch. And so there was a lot going on surrounding Overwatch content creation. And so for me, it was really just a matter of, I pick up the games that I want to play. I don't pick up the ones I don't want to play. I don't care if Elden Ring just came out. I don't care about Souls games. I'm not interested. I don't care if everybody is streaming Monster Hunter. I don't like Monster Hunter either. So here we are. I'm not necessarily going to dump my energy. And of course, games cost money, There are financial things involved with streaming games, of course, because games get more and more expensive. But that said, I'm going to stream what I enjoy because that is going to help me guide these streams in the way that I want to. And it's more recently, it's something that's become super apparent with Zenless Zone Zero. Because I would say right now, that's the game that I stream the most, followed by like Marvel Rivals, and then there's still Overwatch streams here and there, but also RPGs and all of that. But any given week, you can find me playing Zenless Zone Zero, and I'm so into the game that it helps me. I can fill that space. It doesn't need to be, the dreaded, oh no, I'm sitting here silent, I don't have anything to say about this. If you're playing something you're really interested in, you usually have something to say about it.
Exactly.
So that's going to help you fill that, well, not dead air, but like that silence. It's going to help you engage. You can just talk to yourself about the thing. So that's part of the reason, other than the energy that you give, your ability to entertain and to stream is tied to how much you enjoy what you're playing.
Exactly. Try playing something you don't like and be entertaining.
Because when I go back and I watch those VODs, if it gets to a point like in a game that I'm not enjoying, it's so, for me, I'm like, oh God, because I can feel how much I'm not enjoying it. You know what I mean? Like there was I was playing Nier Automata, and the game is brilliant, right?
Yeah,
but the final boss on that first run took me out of it. And it left such a bad taste in my mouth that because I had gone into the game fully intending to do some of the other endings, right?
Yeah.
And that final boss took me out of it so much, I sat that game down for like a year. And I still haven't finished any other endings. Because
me either.
And then when I went back and I like looked at that VOD, I was just like, oh God, this is...
so I'm not going back.
I was like, oh no.
so many good things about that game, and that's my type of game. The one that's like, I love things that are like, for lack of a better word, insane. Like this thing has a bunch of endings, and they all mean something. Like I was like, I'm in. But when I got to the end of it, I was like, I don't think I'm doing this again. I'm not playing this fucker 3 more times. Are you serious?
I was like, you know what? If I never have to see that particular boss again, maybe. But but that was one of those moments where I was like, yeah, not streaming this after, because it just really, like I said, the only way I can describe it is that it just left such a bad taste in my mouth that I just didn't want to do it again. But fortunately, because I am very clear about like games that I'm interested in and not interested in, I haven't really played a ton of things that were like, oh, I've not streamed.
Okay, I was like, damn.
No, I've definitely played some games that I never want to play again, but I haven't streamed a ton of things that I wouldn't want to play again.
That's good.
And that's
why I no longer do the free keys, because typically when you get a free key from a indie developer or like a big name developer, they want you to play that shit on stream. And like if it's a game that I'm not into, it's hard for me to be. I'm not gonna talk shit about it, but it's hard for me to be like, man, this is so fun. I love this, so I just don't do it anymore.
Yeah. That's the thing. If it's free, it's like, well, I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say about it. But by that same token, it's like if it's a sponsorship, I can imagine that being different. But I say that I've never been sponsored to play a game, which, I'm curious about your opinion on these new sponsorships on Twitch.
Which ones?
That new sponsorship hub?
So here's the thing. That thing has been there for me for like 4 or 5 years. So what they did,
I know they've just revamped it though. They just updated a lot of advertising things with Twitch that are very interesting.
It's the weird thing. It looked like, so Streamlabs used to have a sponsorship section, and it looks almost like UI, but as far as the sponsorships they're giving, it looks almost identical, like Factor and
interesting
mobile games. And so I'm like, did y'all just partner up with Streamlabs, or are you actually going out to get the sponsorship? So it's nice that for those who their journey to whatever the fuck they're trying to do on a Twitch stream, like that's an avenue to go, because most of those games are like pretty popular. But I tried it once with a Kingdom Rush or one of those dumbass Kingdom games, and I'm not a salesperson per se for other people's shit, so I couldn't be like, hey, go download the game and play the first 10 levels and get 500 gold and beat the boss so I can get $1. Yeah.
It's so funny because like at a certain point, most of the like the YouTubers that I watch, game content wise, there are like 4 sponsors that everyone gets sponsored by. It's like, it's
and
like
Honey used to be one of them. They're gone now.
No, oh God, no, not even them. It's one of those merge mobile games. Wow. Factor, Squarespace, and then like Bomba socks. They're this like comfort brand. Maybe it's just because I watch like there are certain I watch a lot of like Sims content, right? And there are a number of Sims creators, cozy creators, who not cozy creators in general, Sims creators, but Sims creators. And a lot of them I've seen at the start of their videos, they're sponsored by this company that makes really, like comfy clothes, but they're also there's a lot of charity, like they match and then donate. Yeah. And it's all, so it seems like a cool company. I'm not sponsored by them. This isn't me.
Right. Yeah. No, we're not sponsored by this company, but maybe one day.
No, but it's, I don't know, but there's a consistency to,
gotcha.
Everybody's sponsored by kind of the same, or the other alternative is like Disney Dreamlight Valley.
True.
A lot of Sims creators sponsored by that because it's kind of that same, build your own world, cozy type of thing. But no, I was curious as to what your experience had been with that, because I'll see sponsorships here and there. And I did go through and I like read all the terms and I was like, okay. But I was curious if you'd had any experience with those.
The ones that I've done in the past, luckily, one day I got sponsored. Okay, so this sponsorship was weird because EA reached out to me through my DMs for Apex, because at the time I was playing a silly amount of Apex.
Yeah.
And so it was me and a real esports commentator. We were watching gameplay of like high level Apex players, but they set it up. Yeah, NDA is probably gone. That was years ago. It was set up like remember Gladiators? So basically, Gladiators is big tough athlete people and normal humans going against them in like athletic challenges to see who would win.
Okay.
They did that in Apex. So let's say you had somebody, elite sniper. It was up to the regular people to run across the field and get to the other side to kill him while he's sniping with the best sniper in the game. And it was up to
Wow.
me and a commentator to commentate it like it was like a game show.
Mm.
And we did a pilot for it. They sent me equipment. They paid me $250.
Wow.
And like I couldn't say anything for it. And what ended up happening, like something happened with Apex, like in the media, like social, like that was bad.
Mm.
Not like anything crazy, but like the server wasn't working for a week or some shit like that. And so they scrapped that. And
no, they could have done it after the server was back up.
that's what I said. And I was like, you mother. So that was fun, like getting to be part of that process and seeing how that worked. I don't know what that would have looked like had it gone, but everything else has been like one-offs, like stream this game for an hour and get paid this, or I need buddy come through, what a check. Yeah.
Well, it's so funny. Like there are a couple of things that I would love to be sponsored by, and I'm always just like, okay, how do I put out enough content for that for me to be like, hey, I will happily promote XYZ.
I will say this. I reached out to a controller company, and this was when I was mostly doing YouTube.
Yeah.
I reached out. My numbers were not shit. I just said, hey, I love the product.
Yeah.
And it happened to have one previous, so I talked about why I love that one. I was like, I would love to make content for this device. And like 6 months later, I forgot I sent it. They ended up reaching back out and they're like, oh, what's your address? We'll send out, I think they said like a press package, which ended up having a controller in it. And so like,
cool.
I would say just like ask.
I think, okay, I'll have to.
Figure out what you want to do and just be genuine. Like, yep, these are I didn't lie about it. I was like, these are my numbers. This is what I'm passionate about. But yeah, I really fuck with this controller and I would make an awesome video and I did. So
that's been I think that's part of my hang up is just like, I don't necessarily have like a huge channel. Although I got an email from like Streamlabs the other day that was like, you're in the top 25% because most people don't get above 10 concurrent viewers.
That is true.
And so I got an email from Streamlabs that was like, oh yeah, you're in the top 25% because you have, this many concurrent viewers. And I was just like, oh, what?
Yeah.
So I think something for everyone to remember is that if you're thinking that, oh, everybody else is doing these numbers, they're not. I swear they're not. The people that you're seeing are such a small percentage of the amount of people who stream, the amount of people on Twitch every day.
Yeah.
So don't get caught up in that because I got that email and I was like, oh, word.
Exactly. Like I honestly, like if you have 5 people in your stream, just imagine you would sit in a room playing a game and there's 5 people behind you. That would be fucking crazy.
And that is the thing. 5, especially when you are like an affiliate, right?
Yes.
That is so many people. You don't understand, like, the amount of people streaming to 0. And sometimes you're going to have those days where maybe it was just an odd day and your usuals maybe not be there, whatever. You can always have like a low number stream day and that's okay.
Exactly.
Whatever. Every day of streaming is different.
Very.
So I would say to anyone with a quote unquote smaller channel, like, don't worry about it being 1 person, 2 people, 3 people. Like, you are engaging with those 3 people. Like, that is, that's the key. And a lot of people, according to Streamlabs, a lot of people are not streaming to a lot of people.
Yes, exactly.
So, that's a huge thing. But yeah, I'll have to reach out to them then.
You've dropped already gems left and right here. I don't know if you knew this, but I know
I'm
people
just yapping.
listening.
I just yap. People are like, oh, you're da, 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 da. And I'm like, I'm just talking.
I do. Well, let's do this. Let's give one specific piece of advice to whoever is been laid on your heart to give advice to. Who do you want to give advice to, and what would that advice be?
I would say to anyone who is building their, not that I have a super strong brand, but like to anyone building their brand, building their channel, you have to be you. You need to be the most authentic public self that you are, because regardless of authenticity, you know, this is a public version of your private self, right?
Right.
And that's okay. That is totally okay for you to be a, you know, private person and have things that you do not share with your chat, that
Right.
you do not share with strangers, all of that. But with all of that said, you have to be you, and you need to trust that by putting that version of yourself out there, you'll find your tribe.
Right.
And you will find the people who really connect with a version of yourself that you can sustain.
Mm-hmm.
Because the thing about maintaining a persona, if you're streaming as yourself, not necessarily like VTubers notwithstanding, you are an anime character.
Yes.
You have demon lore or whatever going on, which is, side note, shout out to VTubers. I think they're so cool. But anyway, kind of, I was like, damn, I need to.
They're pricey. They're
Since
pricey.
I'm not usually. The price is crazy. I'm not on camera most of the time anyway, so I was like, well, maybe I need a little get your. But anyway, not necessarily those of you specifically streaming a persona, whatever. If you are streaming as you and you are honest and doing what you enjoy, people will find you because passion is infectious.
Yes, very much so. I couldn't have said it better. It's funny you mentioned that because this morning in my little 20-minute live stream to TikTok, that's exactly what I was talking about. Somebody asked me about building communities and do I have any advice? And I was like, show up as yourself authentically. Therefore, you don't have to waste energy trying to hold up this fake persona, and watch the people around you and see how they act. Like, some people give themselves away quickly.
Yes.
Personally, who I am on stream is who I am in real life. Mine is like maybe the dad vibes, because y'all don't get dad vibes. That's for the kids. But like who I am personality wise is who I am. So I don't have to, like, if I see you at a con, you're going to get that same person. I've seen people who are different, and that shit's scary.
It's and that is what kills me about it. Something I have loved, again, finding your tribe, something that has been so incredible for me in, you know, becoming a streamer as an adult, right, is meeting all of these different people who I have now been friends with for, going on like 7 years now.
Wow.
People who I have met in person multiple times, have gone to cons with, and we've chilled. I'm going to go hang out with one of them later, like after this.
Nice.
Like, shout out to Source Dumal.
Okay.
Everybody's favorite weightlifting bra connoisseur. Yeah. Shout out to Source. But anyways, you will meet people who, like you said, Crip, like, there are people who, man, that persona, that energy is just not there in person, right? Fortunately, though, the people who I have connected with are very authentic. And the first time we all met up, we all commented on that. It was like, wow, this is exactly like being in the Discord. This is like, everybody is the same. It is the same vibes. And anybody who was weird, we don't really talk to them anymore, you know, whatever. But like, especially nowadays, where it's not just, okay, now this is who you are online and you never meet these people. We're in an age where you do meet people you've met online, obviously. So like, when you show up on stream and you show up in the Discord and then you show up at the con, those three images right there, they need to match. They need to be, you know what I mean? And obviously, are you going to chat more and be more entertaining on stream? Probably. But that doesn't mean that you are just this completely other cartoon character from who you are.
Yeah. Because people pick up on that, and it's weird. Imagine you thinking you know somebody and they show up and they're a total opposite in real life. You're like, whoa, hold on, man.
Yeah. It's and the thing is, I mean, it's scary, and there is always that chance because these are people you meet on the internet. But
this is true.
But something that is fortunate about streaming is that energy carries over.
Yeah.
As opposed to the people who you've only known on Twitter and maybe haven't had that like personable interaction with, I guess.
Yeah.
When you're streaming, it carries over a little bit more. Of course, some people can be whatever on camera, but yeah, just be anyway. Back to the actual advice: be you, just be you, play what you love. It will absolutely shine through. There you go.
I said it better myself. Appreciate it. Good. We nailed it. Bodied that question. Cake, this has been super fun, and I can go for like another hour. I know you got things to do, and then my friends are probably like, yo, I got math. Come help me with this fucking math. Cake, where can the people find your content, and are you doing anything in the next week that we need to be aware of? Or tomorrow, because this is when this is going up.
Sure. Well, you can find me primarily on Twitch, Blue Sky, and Instagram, all at CakePopPlays, one word. My TikTok exists and we'll have more content on it, but that one is CakePop_plays. I don't know who has the full tag, but whatever. It's CakePop_plays on TikTok. But otherwise, everything is at CakePopPlays. Just one word. And then this week, there will be more streams. Speaking of my usual, we do have a big new content drop happening in Zenless Zone Zero. So I should be streaming either tomorrow night when it goes live, so Tuesday night when it goes live, and then as well later in the week for more of that content. But
excellent.
Yeah.
And as always, you can find all of her links in the show notes of this podcast episode. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the podcast, uploaded and unfiltered. I'm on your favorite podcast catcher of choice. And share it with a friend who also makes content, because this is for them. But if possible, I made this podcast I didn't have a target audience until things started happening in the world and my eyes started to be open to the way things kind of move in media and content. So I decided to dedicate this to Black creators, because we are some powerful human beings that are sitting on a lot of like pent up creative energy. And I'm hoping more of us start making more content, start putting up those shorts, start putting out those YouTube videos.
Yes. And you don't know how many more of us are out there looking for the rest of us.
Exactly. Yeah, like I make fidget videos because I love fidgets, and so many people come on like, man, I didn't think anybody else play with these things. It's crazy. I'm like, yo, yes, why not freak? But anyways, Cake, this has been super dope. Thank you for doing this. I'm probably gonna have you on again at some point on a panel.
I'd absolutely love to. Absolutely would love to.
Hell yeah. Other than that, y'all, thank y'all for listening. Appreciate y'all as always. And until next time, protect your mental, keep creating content, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Peace.